So today's notes are about the moon. First thing you want to do is set up our Cornell notes. Make sure your title goes at the top. Your essential question goes underneath the title. Your main notes are going to go in the big section you made. Your questions are going to go in the left column. And at the bottom, skip 4 or 5 lines, and you want to put your summary there. Our essential questions for today are, how does the moon move in space? And what causes the phases of the moon? And here we go with our first note. So the motion of the moon, it's just like Earth. It revolves and it rotates. And its orbit, just like Earth, is a flattened oval shape. However, if you look over here, you'll notice that it's tilted a little bit. That's going to be important later. And a day and the year on the moon are exactly the same thing. It takes 27.3 days to revolve around Earth, and it takes 27.3 days for the moon to revolve on its axis. So basically this results in what we call the phases of the moon. And a phase is the appearance of the illuminated or sunlit portion of the moon. And it's caused by the changing angle of the sun, moon, and Earth. At all times, only half of the moon is lit. However, that sunlit portion never changes. So what we see is whatever we can see of the sunlit part of the Earth. So this is basically what we see every 27.3 days. And you'll notice that the moon is changing as it's revolving and rotating. And here we go with our phases. So remember, like I said before, only half of the moon stays lit at a time. And we always start with a new moon, where the moon isn't lit up at all. You won't be able to see it. And we move counterclockwise until we get to the full moon, which is where we see the entire half-lit side of the moon. And then we continue again until we get back to our new moon. So basically how we name them is by their changes in shape. And two terms you need to know are waxing, which means the moon is getting bigger, and waning, which means the part of the moon we can see is getting smaller. And we name the phases using 5 different things. We call them the new moon, remember, where we have no light. We have the crescent, so we have our waxing crescent here, meaning the crescent's getting bigger, and our waning crescent, meaning the crescent's getting smaller. We have the quarter moons, which we have 2 of. We have the first quarter moon after the waxing crescent, and the third quarter moon after the waning gibbous, which we'll talk about in a second. And then we have our gibbous moons. So the gibbous moons are bigger than the half moons. So here on day 10, we have our waxing gibbous moon. It's getting bigger, remember? And again, we go to the full moon. And then after our full moon, we have our waning gibbous moon. So our gibbous moon is getting smaller. Then we go to our third quarter and our waning crescent, and we're back to our new moon again. That cycle repeats every about 29 days or so. So what we have to do is finish the notes. So you're going to write 3 questions in the margin to the left to help you review them. Make sure you don't use any questions that begin with the word what. Use words like define, explain, compare, and other words like that. And then at the end, you're going to write a 4 to 5 sentence summary answering the 2 essential questions we had. And that's it.